Greetings, my friend, and welcome to today's recap of Episode 1 of the anime series titled Oshinoko. In the initial scene, we witness Dr. Goro staring at his TV screen with both his eyes wide open. From the looks of it, the guy has been infatuated with a certain idol named Ai Hoshino for quite a while now. As a way to cover up his mischievous activities, Goro himself states how staring at something beautiful, Ai Hoshino in this case, helps maintain one's mental health. Even if that's the case, it still doesn't excuse you from acting like a total perv. Later on though, Goro reveals how he once grew rather fond of a 12-year-old patient of his. Regrettably, said girl, whose name was Serena, gave in to her illness and died shortly afterward. Before, when she was still alive though, Serena used to admire a certain idol named Ai Hoshino to a fanatical degree. That said, for reasons unknown, Goro started to superimpose the two girls afterward, resulting in him idolizing Ai Hoshino in a similar way he was attached to his former patient, Serena. A rather touchy excuse, I suppose. In reality, though, the guy's merely a pervert who became smitten over an idol almost half his age. Anyways, never in his wildest dreams had Goro ever imagined his precious idol would one day show up at his countryside hospital. And guess what? She's pregnant! What's weird though is how Ai won't reveal her lover's name, no matter what. That matter aside, Goro soon reveals how Ai is to become a mother of twins after careful examination on his part. Months flicker away just like that until the delivery date comes by at last. By a stroke of misfortune though, Goro runs into a rather suspicious stranger on his way to the hospital that dreadful night. He quickly surmises how the person opposite is in fact a stalker, one who's obviously up to no good considering how he seems to know of Ai's pregnancy. The lunatic turns tail and rushes away ASAP upon having sensed Goro's suspicions. Seeing as he's her doctor as well as a true fan, Goro surely can't allow the crazed maniac to slip away, only to stir trouble for Ai later on down the road. The reckless doctor thus pursues the madman all the way to the edge of a cliff. Alas, poor Goro pays a heavy price for his impulsiveness just a minute afterwards. Simply put, the careless fella dies once the nutjob stalker appears out of the blue and pushes him off the perilous cliff. By some strange twist of fate though, Goro ends up getting reborn as the son of his dearest idol Ai herself and is named as Aquamarine Hoshino soon afterwards. In the months to come, both Aqua and his newborn sister Ruby are mostly taken care of by the agency president Ichigo's wife Miyako. Ichigo himself routinely makes a fuss about how both Ai's idol career as well as his agency will disappear so long as the public gets a whiff of Ai having become a mother at 16. Long story short, Ai delegates the babysitting to Ichigo's wife Miyako while she resumes her work as a star idol. One random day, Aqua's sitting in front of the TV watching his mother's live performance. His twin sister Ruby awakens just then and starts whining about how Aqua didn't wake her up sooner. Here, we witness a flashback of how one night Aqua bumped into his dummy sister while she was participating in flame wars against her mother's haters online. That said, his sister Ruby, too, was reincarnated just like he did. Back in the present, Miyako starts to grumble about how she regrettably got stuck with babysitting somebody else's twins. This results in the agency president's wife cooking up a wretched scheme to expose Ai Hoshino's children in return for massive rewards from media outlets. The twins become worried and instantly start brainstorming ways to thwart Miyako's crooked plans. Aqua soon experiences a eureka moment and together with his sister, starts pretending to be a god. Miyako, of course, falls for the trick, since there's no other way for two 6-month-olds to speak in such an eloquent manner. The two little gods instruct their babysitter to serve both them as well as their mother to the best of her abilities. Poor Miyako's easily intimidated by their threats, and thus succumbs to her fate as a nanny for years to come. Later that night, Aqua mutters to himself how his twin sister Ruby idolizes their mother Ai with the same intensity his late patient Serena used to back when she was alive. Ruby manages to hear the word Serena, and hence stands there confused for a moment. Turns out, Ruby was Serena in her past life. Anyways, the sleepy-eyed girl soon shrugs it off as a mere coincidence and goes back to sleep. On the flip side, Ai continues working hard and successfully climbing the showbiz ladder until she finally lands her acting gig in the film industry, albeit a small one. The twins, of course, tag along as well to experience the film shooting in person. While at the film set, the 1-year-old Aqua catches the attention of the film's director, who's quite impressed with him thanks to Aqua's casual and fluent style of communication. Afterwards, the director promises to offer their mother Ai a major role in another of his films. There's one catch though: Aqua must partake in the film as an actor as well. Although hesitant at first, Aqua eventually agrees for the sake of his mother's success. Up next, Aqua is casted in a scene where his main purpose is to appear creepy enough when giving directions to a random adult straggler. Needless to say, the boy nails his role flawlessly. In reality, however, Aqua had merely been acting as his natural self. However, that's exactly what makes him appear creepier than anybody else. After all, it's not every day you run into a spooky child that exudes such mature vibes and can speak so casually despite being a toddler. To sum it up, the director is quite satisfied with Aqua's performance and hence fulfills his promise of presenting Ai with a decent role in his new film. The project ends up serving as quite an elevator for Ai in the years to come, turning her into an up-and-coming star within just 3 short years. Later on, Ai overhears her kids discussing their unknown father with much curiosity. Hence, for their sake alone, Ai finally ends up contacting her twins' biological father. Upon connecting, Ai questions whether her past lover would fancy her arranging a meeting with their mutual kids at her new address. Regrettably, such a meeting never occurs, since pretty soon that crazed lunatic comes looking for Ai, the same one who pushed Goro off the cliff a few years ago. The heartless monster now stabs Ai right in the gut the moment she opens the door. Later, he starts yammering about how she betrayed her fans by running an affair, getting impregnated, and finally giving birth to children, all done in secrecy. The insane fella is nowhere to be seen a few seconds afterwards. On the other hand, poor Ai bleeds to death next to her heartbroken pair of twins. In the days to come, it's revealed how the murderer ended up committing suicide after a torrent of guilt and self-disgust hit him for having stolen away such a precious and innocent life. After the funeral, Miyako offers to act as a substitute mother in hopes of smothering the twins with as much love as they need. From the looks of it, the agency's president's wife has genuinely started to care for the twins as if they were her own by now. In the days to come, the pure-hearted Ruby shows faint signs of recovering from the trauma. Alas, same can't be said for Aqua, who seems to have lost his life's purpose upon his mother's death and is seriously contemplating suicide at the moment. However, a piercing thought occurs to him just then. Thing is, Ryusuke might be off the charts when it comes to being nuts. However, he most certainly didn't have any talents as a detective and instead was merely an ordinary high schooler. Begs the question, who's been spoon-feeding Ryusuke with various sensitive pieces of info about Ai from time to time, such as her hidden surname, news of her pregnancy, or her new address? Aqua thus plays a little game, one by one starting to eliminate all individuals from a list of suspects who knew such sensitive information regarding their mother. Both the agency president Ichigo and his wife Miyako had too much to lose since Ai was serving as the face of their agency. Other than those two, only one other person could possibly have known all those things: their father. With that line of thought, Aqua instantly becomes hell-bent on avenging Ai, who was not just the twins' mother, but also their most beloved idol. Episode 1 unfortunately comes to an abrupt end here. Please do tell in the comments whether or not you think how the twins' mysterious father would have indeed been responsible for the untimely and cruel death of their mother.